happy for him. I loved here. He was a big leader at this club. It was a special afternoon.
When I was 27, 28 years old, and I was here at Arsenal, and I started to feel a bit different in regards to the game and the part of the game that I was actually getting very excited about it. And then I started to study. I started to like it even more. Then I started to practice it a little bit, and yeah, I loved it. People could see that, how intrigued and interested I was about the game, and trying to understand why things happened, as well as a leader, because I've been captain in most of the clubs, and probably they knew that it's something that I take really seriously, and it was for me very, very important to understand the game dynamics and the group and the role of each player and the process that have to be in place for everybody to feel the right way and push the team.
Quite often a lot of players nowadays are not so keen to go and do their coaching badges as early as, say, I was, for example, in my early part of my career. But Mikel was always someone who I always thought had a little bit more. He was an intelligent boy, thought about his football, had a really good upbringing in where he'd come from. So maybe looking back now, it was an obvious choice, but when you first get the players, you're never quite sure what ones are going to go on to be coaches.
With him, it was clarity and discipline. He was very straightforward, what he expected, what he wanted, and how he wanted. And then, the importance of the discipline in the dressing room, your individual habits, and then how this affects to the team, basically. Luis Fernandez, when I was at PSG, because he was the one that gave me the opportunity to become a professional football player when I was 17 years old, that's for sure. I think David was exceptional at managing the group, creating an environment where everybody was having joy, I was feeling part of this, and then again, a very hard-working person, very honest, and very capable of convincing you of how good you are and how important you are for the team.
Mikel, in his own way, was quieter, but a leader within the team here. But I'm sure at the time when Mikel came, he saw something different as well. He saw what it was like, to build a team spirit, the group, the planning, which would go on. And look, we weren't the best team, but we had to fight to try and become as good as we could against the top teams in the country. I
had to basically make a very difficult decision. One of the possibilities was to stay here, another one is to go with another coach, and then I had the situation with Pep as well. But I felt my gut feeling, I sit down with Pep, and he explained what he wanted to do, why he wanted me next to him, and the thing that he was trying to do in English football, and I just jumped straight away. He wanted to do something very similar to what he did in Barcelona, but here, when everybody expected that, it was impossible to do. So he needed help, he needed support, he needed people with experience in this context to try to understand it and make that process quicker. And then obviously the chemistry that we have in the human and professional side, that flow, and you could tell that it flowed straight away.
I always had known that they had a close relationship, and someone said to me, if Pep comes to the UK, he'll take Mikel as one of his coaches. So I was quite aware of that actually before it even happened. But I think Mikel would have had an unbelievable experience working under Pep, who having Pep's experiences of the likes of Barcelona and Bayern Munich, what it would have helped him as well. But I think he did have a chance to see how Pep was building Man City and getting them better, building them up and taking them to the levels which everybody's fully aware of. So Mikel was probably part of that growth period.
Simply the best, so much better than all the rest. Manchester City, undisputed champions of the Premier League.
Arsene was his presence, I would say, his aura that transmitted, peace, confidence, that love for the game and the way the game has to be played, and probably the feeling of feeling free.
He was always very passionate about the game and very focused and very serious and highly motivated, so there's important qualities.
Pep which is probably the most important one, because he believed so much in me when I didn't have any coaching experience. And yeah, I got to realize, I know him since I was 15 years old, but on a daily basis, you know, how demanding this job is, but how grateful it can be as well when things click and everybody's in the same page.
A reminder of the big breaking news. Mikel Arteta has signed a 3.5-year deal to become the new Arsenal head coach.
I feel back home. I'm extremely happy and proud to have given the opportunity to be the manager of this football club. I've been preparing for a few years for this challenge to come. I know the expectations, I know the level, and I know the stature of this club and what it deserves. So I'm ready for that challenge. I can't wait to start working with the players and everybody here at the club. But I've got a good vibe. I'm sensing a good energy today since I walked in a London colony. So it's giving me even more energy, and I feel so happy. I can't say any other thing.
I wish him all the best for him and his lovely family. So it was an incredible pleasure to work with him in the last 3.5 years. Incredible professional and lovely person and incredible manager. So I think he will do an incredible job there.
Taking a step back and taking your time to understand the dynamics of a coaching staff, that was first. Because obviously you get into a coaching staff that has been already very, very successful, and you want to put your fingerprints in and give your opinion, but I think you needed time. The same on the players, you know. I was a bit uncertain how the players were going to take my role there, what they expected, how I wanted them to perceive me, but it happened in a really organic way, and I feel very comfortable very quickly. I think the fact that obviously I knew the club really well because I played and I captained the club, that was really helpful, because you know the dynamics, you know the people upstairs, you know how everybody feels about the club and the values of it.
I think taking the Arsenal job's a big decision, and I thought it looked a big jump for Mikel. But you have to praise the Arsenal directors and the people who appointed Mikel, because it was a great decision. And let's be fair, I remember, it's probably the early year or so, yeah, maybe a wee bit longer it was, Mikel was coming on for a bit of criticism, and I was thinking to myself, this is crazy. I really think this guy's making a huge difference. And I wasn't saying that just because he was an ex-player and someone who I wanted to succeed. I genuinely felt that it was wrong.
Aubameyang's goals were last year and the year before. You know, he hadn't done too much recently. I think he's a big influence in the dressing room with the younger kids. There's a lot of youngsters there. And I think behind the scenes, I think the manager's done a good job, and I think he's gone, I need to get rid.
I'm extremely grateful for what Oba has done at the club, for his contributions since I've been here, and the way I see myself in that relationship is the solution, not the problem.
Well, he's certainly evolved, I think, in recent years. I think he's beginning to find his own style. He's beginning to find his own way about it. But I'm seeing him also picking games where he might need to be a little bit more pragmatic. He's thinking, how can I win the game? It doesn't always need to be done with great style. There's other ways to win.
What do you think defines a good coach?
I think it's a leader that has the ability to align everybody with the same purpose, gets the best out of people, and is able to deliver a team that is successful and wins a lot.
I believe that Mikel's had a great opportunity to see how it works. But ultimately, Mikel has to find himself, and he certainly has. He's found himself, I think, from the minute he went into Arsenal, he's found himself competing for trophies, improving Arsenal. He's had to lead and make big decisions, which all managers have to do. Some of them popular, some of them completely unpopular. And I think he's been able to handle it. Arsenal's a really big club, and success is expected. And I think he's pushed them really close, and he's had success as well.
I remember many more moments that I had personally with people than the moments that we won the trophies. And I learned about that, you know, and having the people that you want, you know, that you value, that you love, that you respect in the journey, I think it's the key to enjoy it, you know, because we have to enjoy it. You know, it's a really demanding job, but we have to enjoy the journey.
It's always been strange going up against Mikel, but I think there's a mutual understanding that, you know, we've had our period together, but we're now doing our own job. We're expected to win for our own clubs, whoever that may be. He took one of my best players in Declan Rice, who I'm really pleased for him because he's such a good player. That's football. We all move on. There's different parts of your career where, you know, you come up against people who you've worked with or been with, and Mikel's just one of them.